Good evening, folks. Well, today I found a new pan. Now, I have been a fan of the Revere Ware for probably a good 20 years or so. And the main reason I love Revere Ware is because it is a workhorse. It's easy to clean, it looks good, it cooks well. You know all about Revere Ware already, so I'm not going to go too much into it. Anyways, this is my workhorse of my Revere pans right here. Now, this is a aluminum-based pan, so it's not the copper, but I use this one a lot just because, hey, I don't know, I just felt like, why do I want to use the copper ones? They're too nice. But you know how that goes sometimes. Your Sunday best for Sunday and your work stuff, work clothes. This is basically like my work clothes here. Anyways, this has been a really good pan for me. I use it for everything, for sauces, for soups, and a lot of pasta. I do all my pasta primarily in here. However, I think I'm going to be selling this one. Now, I might keep this one because I have an Airbnb, and this is a workhorse, and for guests to use a pan, this would be the one that I'd want them to use, okay? Let's get that out of the way. Now, I've become a new fan of Farberware. Now, I bought Farberware recently, new Farberware, when I was down in Mexico, and I ordered it online, and I was really happy with that because a lot of the pans down there are really lower quality, just like here. It's not just down there, it's everywhere. Lower quality aluminum pans, thin metal, and they don't conduct heat well enough, and so it takes a lot of time for something to cook. This is an aluminum clad Farberware. This is from the Bronx, New York plant. So this is probably, I'm not a specialist on these, but I'm going to say probably 70s to 60s, okay? I can tell by the weight this is a good pan. Now, I like this pan here because it's not a real big pan. You can see it's not a real big pan. It's a 7-inch pan. It's got a little bit of lip on it, or depth to it. So I can reheat soups in here. I can make sauces in here. I can even make oatmeal in here. Generally I would make oatmeal for like 3 or 4 people in something like this or the smaller 1-quart pan. But in reality, I'm a minimalist. So I'm trying to use the least amount of pans and get the most out of one pan, different uses. Okay. Aluminum clad, nice and dense, nice handle. I just bought this one here. It's a little bit, you can see, worn here. Not worn, but just, you can tell it's been used. But look, it's still really clean inside. So that's really good. And that's what I like about Revere Ware and Farberware. However, I think I'm going to go to Farberware. Basically the vintage or more retro Farberware from the 70s, 60s, and 50s. Okay? But in reality, I'm not going to be buying more pans now. That's it. I need to stop and just get down to 3 or 4 pans. So I'm going to put this on pause for 1 second. I want to make a comparison here. Now, this beast here, it's a great pan. Fabulous pan. Heats really well, evenly. I love the glass lid. I've never really had too many pans with glass lids, so this is really nice. I am one of those people that likes to look at my food in there, and it's pretty. I also like all steel pans so that you can put them in the oven, and this one you could do that with, if I wanted to make something that I wanted to dry a little bit after I, started on the stove and then put it into the oven. So this one's really nice. I don't think the lid is rated for the oven higher than, let's say, 400, but that's really not important because I'm not going to, use this in high heat anyways. So 300 or so would be fine. But that's a whole nother review. I'm not here to talk about the Wolfgang Puck. What I'm here to talk about is that this pan is really big. And when I wash it, this long handle is a real pain to wash. And it's slipping and sliding, and then this gets in my way. It's a nice pan. But for me, as a minimalist, I decided I'm going to go to a smaller pan. Now, I also have a wooden pot rack that I'm making to fit on the wall space right here. Now, I used to have my all my gadgets and pots all right here on a pegboard. But I want to go less industrial, and so I found a nice piece of wood, and I'm putting hooks, and I'm putting just the pots and the gadgets that I primarily use on a daily or a regular basis. And this one here had a real, it's really long here. I mean, this has got to be close to 20 inches here, okay? Let's take a look. Let's measure it. So I just measured it. Yes, it's 20 inches. That's a lot of room on my pot rack. So I said, I'm going to get a smaller pan, but similar in shape and size. So I went to this pan here, and I just found this one. And this video is primarily about this pan here. This is an Amway pan. Now, I never knew Amway made pans. I mean, I know that Amway sells a lot of stuff, a lot of products, but I was not aware that they sold pans. Okay, now I'm thinking, my guess is this is probably manufactured here in the U.S., probably Wisconsin or close. It doesn't have the manufacturer. It's made specifically, exclusively for Amway. But the handles and the construction leads me to think that it might even be made by Revere or Farberware. However, this pan, for this size, is really heavy. And this lid is really heavy. I mean, this pan here, that right there probably weighs what those two weigh combined, okay? So when I felt that, and I saw that it has this little loop here, because I love to hang my pots and pans, I like to have things easily accessible, I said to myself, this pan is worth researching a little bit more. And I mean, I didn't really need to research, I could tell. I mean, I know Amway sells, good products. It's got a nice, it's all stainless steel. It might have an aluminum core. It could have. It's pretty dense. Easy to clean, it looks like. It's got a nice deep lip right here that the lid sits right in there. So all the steam is going to stay in there, which is going to make things cook really nicely and efficiently. It's going to heat up really nice. It's got a nice cool handle on it, kind of like the Revere and Farberwares, which I really like. I hate having to use a pot holder if I don't have to. And it's good size. This is a good size pan. So I just measured this from the inside lip here, and it's just about 8 inches. So we'll call it an 8-inch pan. It's got a nice depth to it, about probably a little bit over 2 inches, maybe 2 1/4. We can measure it. It is 2 inches deep to the inside of the lid lip right here. Okay. It's got a nice stay cool handle, very similar to the Farberware and Revere Ware screw-on lids or handles. I believe from my research that this was a egg poaching pan or steaming pan, and there might have been an insert here that the eggs would sit in. Maybe 6 eggs or so? Oh, listen to the metal. This is another thing that I love. That also tells me really good steel. So the video was about this. This is an Amway Queen branded series of pans, and it's really well made. When was this? When is this from? Oh crap! Did I just ding that thing? No, it's just a stain. Oh, it's adhesive from the tape from the Goodwill store. Got to clean that up a little bit more. I missed that. Anyways, these were introduced in the 1960s, but I'm not 100% sure when. I'm gonna just throw a number out there. I think 1961. Go ahead and confirm that on other videos, okay? This video was primarily just to make a comparison of the Revere Farberware and the Amway pan, and my decision to go from a larger pan like this, which is basically the same thing, except this does not have a see-through lid. However, if I find a see-through lid at Goodwill, I will go get a see-through lid, and have it on hand. And that'll solve that problem. If I want to look at my food while it's cooking, I'll look at my food while it's cooking. Hey, you know what? You know what? Do whatever makes you happy, folks. Okay. And so I like cooking, and I am an efficient cooker, and I don't like to have a lot of stuff. I'm a minimalist, but I'm also a collector. I love really good quality pots and pans, and just just the touching them and seeing them. I mean, I know there's folks out there. When you're at the thrift store, whether you have it or not, you got to go over there and touch it and say, damn, I know what that's worth. I got that. Or I've had that. Or my parents have had that. And I know the quality. And I'm proud to buy American made, US made, and support the manufacturing here in the US. And maybe a lot of these pans are no longer made here in the US. In fact, I think one of these was made in Korea. Might have been this one. Let's take a look. It does not say. Oh, wait a second. I think it says it on the lid. No, it says it. Where does it say? It says it on this pan. Actually has its markings on the side there. Let me see if I can find them. Oh no, it is made in the USA. It's got the Amway logo on it. It says multiply 18 by 8 stainless steel made in USA. Amway Queen. That could have been made in Korea. I'm not either way, it doesn't matter. I like to buy good quality American-made products manufactured by companies and corporations that were here, and the folks that worked in these facilities, and they're your grandparents, our parents, your aunts and uncles, and if we can bring that back, folks, and change our habits. Not because we're better than anybody else, but because we have the capability to make this stuff. So we just got to change our habits of where we're buying stuff and buy stuff locally if possible. Now, I buy all my stuff from thrift stores. I buy 99% of my products from thrift stores, and I keep the money in our community. And that's just a little, my little stump speech right there. Anyways, folks, Queen Series 8-inch pan from Amway. I think it's a winner. Definitely a good pot, good pan.